The Kentucky Small Business Development Center is a statewide, nationally accredited program that provides no-cost, confidential business coaching and training services. Whether you're just getting started or are ready to expand, we have the tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. We're part of a national network, America's SBDC, with over 1,000 centers across the nation. To learn more about how the Kentucky SBDC can serve you, please visit KentuckySBDC.com or email us at info@KentuckySBDC.com. You can also reach us by calling 888-414-7232. Thank you for joining today's webinar. The chat feature is available for you to ask questions and interact with today's speaker. Please take a moment to introduce yourself and where you are watching from today.
Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the Wednesday webinar with the Kentucky Small Business Development Center. I'm Catherine Nash. I am the business coach in the Frankfort, Kentucky location at Kentucky State University. And I'm very excited that you're joining us today for the webinar. Don't leave cash on the table. We have an excellent presenter, Jeff Lee with the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development, specifically with the Office for Apprenticeship and Employer and Apprenticeship Services. So Jeff has been with the cabinet for a couple of years. Before that, he was in Florida doing economic development work there, employer services, workforce development. So I'm going to let him start speaking, but I want you all to please don't hesitate to put questions in the chat. Let us know what questions we can answer. And at the end, I will go through those and make sure that we hit all of your questions and that you don't miss anything with this opportunity. Again, we're recording this, so it'll be available on the KentuckySBDC.com website afterwards. And then we'll be able to send you the presentation as well. So thank you again for joining us. We look forward to this presentation by Jeff Lee. So Jeff, go ahead and take it from here.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. Good afternoon, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to be here and to share about how not to leave cash on the table and how to diversify your workforce. Those are very popular agenda items that we hear about quite often when we reach out to companies in Kentucky and in companies I served in Florida as well. And so very happy to be here. What we offer on our team through the Office of Employee and Apprenticeship Services as a dedicated project manager, so to speak. We are workforce development consultants, but we also are project managers that can be a single point of contact for your company. So if you're interested in learning more about diversity or apprenticeships or training or even connecting with high school seniors as they graduate and get into the workforce field, we can provide that single point of contact for you to help wherever you are across the Commonwealth. We also can provide reports for labor market information. We have Dun & Bradstreet that we work with each week to run reports for about any company in Kentucky, any type of demographic you're looking for. We also have work with Labor Insight through Burning Glass that can give us statistics as well as Kentucky Stats, who's in our department or in our cabinet. And they also provide up-to-date information to help companies know the unemployment rate, the folks who are leaving their town to work someplace else in Kentucky. And, so really good information to keep track of if your business is attracting zip code folks who are hours away, who are driving, or maybe they're 20 minutes away. So there's really good data to have for decision-making. And we also have interagency reach outs to vocational rehab veterans, Department of Corrections, so that we share information with them, job postings, job fairs. If there's a need for a certain type of talent pipeline, we reach out to our workforce partners in the industry and through the state government to make sure that we can assist with that. We have state and local area workforce partnerships through our 10 regions in Kentucky. So I cover the Bluegrass region and also cover the Lincoln Trail region, which would be Barstown and E-Town. So each of our consultants, which we'll have a map coming up here shortly, you'll see that each of us cover 2 regions in the state, and we are also linked out to where if we need to reach out to another region, even in West Virginia or in Ohio or in Illinois or Tennessee, that we can make those connections as well. Here's a map of our employer services and our dedicated project managers. As you can tell, it's color coded. So I would cover the Bluegrass and the Lincoln Trail regions, and then we have the whole state covered. And I can definitely share this map with you all, so that if you have a company that's in another part of Kentucky or whatever the case is, and you want to know that workforce project manager or consultant, that you have their contact info there as well. And I'll also share with you our inbox. We have an inbox that we all monitor daily, so that way you can just email to that one inbox and we all get that in the email to assist. One of the most important things we talk about a lot with companies, especially after the pandemic, is labor market information. On many companies, they kind of are aware of what's going on in their neighborhood, who's recruiting or hiring, who's moving into the region, who may be unfortunately laying off. But we have labor market information data that we can share with you through reports that we can run for job posting, industry-specific data, wage data, unemployment, mapping tools. One of the things that we like to do is the commuting report that we get through KY Stats, is that allows us to determine if someone's working in Frankfort, but they live in Owen County, how many people are going back and forth, or they're working in Richmond, but they live in Lexington. What is that distance? How many people are doing that? So we have a lot of information that we can share at no cost, and about occupations, wages, anything that you're looking for. More than likely, through our reach of reports and partners, we can get that information for you. We also offer what's really popular, and even when I was working in Florida, the Kentucky Registered Apprenticeship Program, which is we are the state approving agency for that. This goes through the Department of Labor. So what's really cool about this registered apprenticeship is that once an apprenticeship is completed and that apprentice is ready to go on, they know not only do they have possibly a 2-year degree, an associate's degree, but they also have a certification that is going to be good for any state. If they have to move to Ohio for a plant opening or facility that's going to open, or they have to move for a family, whatever the case is, move to Florida to take care of their parents or whatever, that registered apprenticeship through the Department of Labor follows them. So they have that certificate, that credential, wherever they do go. And why do people choose apprenticeships? We had a meeting this morning, in fact, with the team, and we were talking about the basic and training and employment model that sometimes folks overlook and they don't talk about it. But apprenticeship is such a great avenue because you get a skilled worker. You get someone that can come in who may not have ever worked in manufacturing, may not have ever worked in the medical field, but they want to start that training, and you can train them on your process, on your equipment, on, however you want to do that. And so we have an outline for folks through our department that, say, if a person wants to become an engineer, we have a registered apprenticeship training model that we can use. That's a good baseline. And then we allow the company 25% of customization. So that way, if they're working with different software, if they're working with different programs, they can add that in there for their company. So there is some customization that we allow in there and that the Department of Labor will recognize. You also get $1.47 for return on investment. For every dollar that's spent through apprenticeship, $1.47 is the return on investment. And that's really good. There's a 94% retention rate. More than likely, when you invest in someone to become an apprenticeship in your company and you're taking time to train them, they're going to stay on the job. They're going to realize that this company cares for me. They want me to succeed. And even after that apprenticeship is over with, they're going to have a model or a pipeline for me to go up into other talent. If I want to become an engineer, leader, or if I want to become executive, I may have that opportunity with that company starting with this apprenticeship. It's increased productivity. It helps with employee satisfaction. And it's also very flexible. So you can take this apprenticeship model and you can customize it, like I said, up to 25% through that Department of Labor baseline. And how can we help? Well, first of all, we are the state approving agency. We can register that apprenticeship program for you at no cost. We also provide technical assistance and support. So we will walk with you every step of the way. We can answer your questions about apprenticeships. The good thing about that, once it's kind of like with on-the-job training or any type of model you use for reimbursement or wages or whatever, training, once you get that first one started or the first 2 or 3 started, it becomes natural. You get used to it. You know what to expect. But we're here. Our department's here for you every step of the way. We guide our partners through the steps to develop the registered program, which can be overwhelming at times, but it does get better. And we help businesses design their program. So we have companies come to us that may not even have a model to look at through the Department of Labor. We can help you design that one through from the ground up as well. So we connect businesses with training providers. So the way apprenticeship works is not only on-the-job training where that apprentice is out there learning with their hands and working that machinery, or they're working on that program, but there's also related technical instruction, which is the classroom part. So we have partners like KCTCS and other partnerships around the Commonwealth that can help with that. And also, you can teach that on your own as well. And so, that's something companies don't realize, is that if they have a person in-house that wants to become that mentor or that trainee, or for that trainee, they can do that as well in the apprenticeship model. So you can either have it done by KCTCS, for instance, or you can do it in-house. And then we also have funding that's available at times through our economic development partners, through KCTCS. They have some funding that through grants that company can apply for, and that can incorporate that apprenticeship as well. The next thing we want to talk about is kind of like one of the best kept secrets, I will say. It's the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, which is we call it WOTC. And through the WOTC program, you can lower the amount of federal taxes you owe by hiring employees who qualify for the program. So credits range from $1,200 up to $9,600. And there's no limit to how much money you can save per fiscal year. So for instance, if you were to hire a veteran who has a disability, who has been unemployed for 120 days, you're eligible to receive $9,600 back in a tax credit. And that ranges from, usually we see $2,400 as our average, because that goes into folks who may never have any work experience, who are fresh out of school. Could be folks that are on, supplemental programs. And so there's a nice variety where if you do hire someone and they want to share that information with you, you can receive a tax credit back. And so here's the target groups that we work with quite a bit. Again, veterans who are unemployed or who have a disability, long-term assistance for the needy, TANF. We have short-term TANF recipients, SNAP, vocational rehabilitation referrals, where we work with them directly. And it's a lot of times with Voc Rehab, they have their own business services team, so they do WOTC. So if you're working with a Voc Rehab specialist in your area, they can also train you on the WOTC certification as well, WOTC tax credit as well. Summer youth, ex-felons, and again, long-term unemployed individuals. So this program it takes about 2 forms to fill out, and once you have those forms filled out, we have a WOTC team in Frankfurt that takes those forms through the upload. You can create an account through the state government and upload those documents. And then within a couple of weeks, they can have those approved. And if there's any issues, they'll let you know. So it's a very simple process. And once that's approved, then you can get your tax credit back to your company. Some of the case studies that we have that we've heard back from manufacturers, from our partners, and from direct work as well. We had an advanced manufacturing facility in the state, and they had 40 certifications in their first 6 months of the year, and their average certification was $2,400, and they received a savings of around $96,000. So again, the average $2,400 is very popular, and if you do turn those in through the year, and if you have 28 days, I meant to say that you have 28 days from that start date to get that taken care of. And that's usually long enough. And so that you submit it, we get the paperwork for you, submit it to the federal government, and then you get your tax credit. We have a fast food restaurant in Kentucky, And they had 52 certifications in the first 6 months of the year. Again, averaged about $2,400, and their potentials was $124,800. So almost $125,000 in tax savings. And I know with any small business and any business in general, the bottom line is very important. I've never talked to a company in my career where they didn't talk about saving money and the bottom line. And so where you save money here, you can use it someplace else. And so we want to think big in Kentucky, think about growing, think about reaching out there, expanding. Well, this is money to expand. That all you have to do is bring it into your, to your employees when they enroll in their health insurance or they're doing their tax forms. Put this in put these federal forms in there with that so that they can use that for, and that this flows in with your onboarding process. So here's the application process. There's a couple IRS forms to fill out, the 8850 and the ATA 9061. Then on the slide deck, you'll be able to see how to contact the WOTC system that's in our department. And again, 28 calendar days to have that submitted. That's usually not a problem because most employers, that use this program, they have it in their onboarding paperwork so that they can get that taken care of the first week, submit it forward through their account, and then the WOTC department, which has no backlog, by the way. So if you send it in this week, you're going to get answered this week normally. That's a great thing. So very quick and very easy to do. And then as we are here as your consultants, your contacts, if you have any WOTC questions, and on that map I shared earlier for your region, reach out to us and we can take care of any questions that you have. Again, going back to the process again, it's a Kentucky tax credit unit that we have in-house that can help through state government at no cost. Sometimes we might need additional documentation, but more than likely we won't. Then we file that for you with the IRS at no cost. And employees must work at least 120 hours for partial credit. So if you do have an employee that's part-time, you will receive partial credit for at least 120 hours and 400 hours for full-time. And then for nonprofits, there is an eligibility for nonprofits in that they can, if they do hire a veteran, the veteran can, you can get a tax credit back for that veteran who comes aboard. So very cool. A lot of folks are using this. We've been really promoting it within our department. Every time I talk to a company about apprenticeships or any other program or any of our partners, I always say, have you talked or have you heard about WOTC and how can we get that implemented in your company? Because like I said, I've never spoke to a company wherever I've worked that doesn't want to save money. And then there's another tax credit through our state, and that's called the Kentucky Unemployment Tax Credit, and we call it KUTC. And so your business may qualify for a $100 credit for each eligible hire on Kentucky income taxes. So if you have a person who comes to you that's been unemployed for at least 60 days and then remains on your payroll for at least 180 days, then this $100 tax credit can also be added to save you money. And so there's a form to fill out that's online. Again, any questions you have about this, the consultant can help you get this going. And again, once you start doing these processes, it's very easy to do. So very, very simple. Next, we have the federal bonding program. And you're like, what in the world is that? We've also changed the name. It's not official yet to our Kentucky Fair Chance Bonding Program. And so what is the federal bonding program? It's a bond program that provides fidelity bonds to help hard-to-place job seekers get and keep a job and protects against fraudulent activity or dishonesty such as stealing, theft, forgery, larceny, or embezzlement. It's extremely successful. Beginning in 1966, they've had less than 1% of the bonds filed upon. So basically, if you have a federal bond on someone who's coming to your job to start an employment opportunity, more than likely you're never going to have to file on that bond. So the mechanics are, as soon as it can be issued as soon as the applicant starts. Each bond has a $5,000 limit, but you can stack those bonds too, and so up to $25,000. And we had a company in the state who was a car dealership, and they relied heavily on transporting the vehicles, money, keys, everything, tools. A lot of jobs. They were hiring a lot of folks. And so they came to our cabinet and said, can we possibly get permission to do the $25,000 bond on these positions? And so we gave them the permission to do that. And they have been very successful in hiring and keeping those employees there with that $25,000 bond. Each bond initially covers 6 months, but it can be renewed at no cost for an additional 6 months. So basically a year for this bond at no cost. So if it provides your company peace of mind, or may even provide the employee a peace of mind, then we suggest looking and searching into this. It's a 1 page to fill out. I definitely would send you the information. If you're in my region or any other consultants in the region can send you the form and you fill it out. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get that completed. We have to send it up, have it verified and reviewed from our executive director. And then we can then take care of it as far as making sure you get back to note that this bond is ready and has been set. So we're with you every step of the way on that. We want to be here for your success. And some of the things that we've spoken about today, we think that your company can succeed with those programs, because more and more companies are looking to hire a skilled and diverse workforce through apprenticeships, through WOTC, through federal bonding that reaches out so that can happen. We know that companies, most of my meetings I have with companies around my regions, they're looking to employ new folks and also have retention. And so a big piece of advice is branch out, we have a job board called Focus Talent. It's free. There's no cost to it. And you can register your company, and post your job postings at no cost with the state. And that focuses on the Commonwealth, where your region is. It also reaches out to some of our partners, such as Department of Corrections, all of our workforce boards, and also a lot of companies that we speak to daily. We want them to know to get on and search for talent on that job board. And so it's a very successful part of gaining employment for our state at no cost. And I also just suggest use your partnerships, use Indeed, but also diversify. It's like when you think about your stocks and your portfolio for your retirement, you diversify your accounts. Well, that's what you have to do with recruiting and retention. You have to diversify and branch out there to get better results. Increase productivity. We want your company to be able to have a talent pipeline management to hire new folks as you expand. There's been a lot of news lately of companies moving to Kentucky and companies branching out. Even through the pandemic, they've expanded. And so we want to make sure that you have the tools and resources to get that going, to start with that. And we have partnerships with a lot of agencies around the state that we can connect you to at no cost. And the bottom line is saving money. We want companies, like I said, anytime I've ever talked to a company, I've worked with vocational rehab over the years as a consultant for them, and also now with the state of Kentucky. Every company needs people, and they want to save money, and they want training. So we are the avenue to help you get connected to that. And so thank you. Don't leave money on the table, and I look forward to emailing you all, and you can reach out to me at any time. Our email down here, you can see, is workforce@ky.gov. And again, we monitor that daily. So if you have any questions or you need more information, please reach out and be glad to assist. Thank you. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. If there's any questions, please feel free to chime in.
Thank you so much, Jeff. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I've written down a couple of questions just that I had, that I know clients of mine that I work with and colleagues of mine that have had questions might also have. For these programs, do the employers looking to participate in these, do they need to have a minimum number of employees?
Now, with registered apprenticeship, they usually like to have at least 3 employees that are on board. Now, sometimes companies can get away with a consortium where they can possibly have, like we have a healthcare companies maybe in Eastern Kentucky that are going together and they want to do apprenticeships. Usually 3 is the minimum for that. Now with OJT, like if you're wanting to work with on-the-job training, which we didn't get to talk to a lot about, that's through our workforce agencies across the state. That's a one-on-one. So you can have one person coming through the workforce region, and that company wants to do OJT, they can do one OJT at a time. But with the apprenticeships, that's at least 3. And then the tax credits, there's no limit on that. If you're hiring one person or 10 people, those folks can be registered in your company and start working and then get those credits on there as well.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much for explaining that. And then I wanted to ask also, just to clarify for our attendees, the WOTC, that workforce tax credit, those amounts that you listed, those were things that that business got as a one-time. For instance, the fast food restaurant, they got the $124,800. They got that within that year or within that time period once, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Once what happens is normally what they'll do is they'll put that paperwork in their onboarding process, and then once that's completed, they upload it to their account. Our team processes that, and then that's a tax credit that they can use for that year. And I think the IRS allows it to even be further down the road. If they want to use it in 2030, they're able to do that as well. But it's a one-time tax credit for that individual in that company. So again, it adds up. So unfortunately, with the pandemic, we had some companies who were laying off folks or having to close temporarily, but we also had some expanding. And now what I'm hearing through my regions, especially, is there's a lot of expansion going on. So this is a great opportunity to save money, and it's no cost. And you have people here to help if you want. If companies want to get it going and they're kind of like, I don't want to deal with forms, I don't have time to deal with that. I understand. We can help you get that process quickly and at no charge.
Great, thank you. I had one other question that I thought of. When you see employers apply for any of these programs with you all, is there a typical mistake or something that employers leave out? Is there something that we can talk to our clients and those participating with us or watching later on the replay that maybe they can avoid this or make sure of this? Is there any typical mistake or error that you see that we can help them avoid?
With the WOTC tax credit, a lot of times it's just the paperwork. Make sure that you're able to provide additional paperwork if needed. Some companies may need to provide a few more documents in there. They usually the 2 forms we mentioned before usually do it, and then the tax credit unit will research that. But sometimes they'll need additional information. So sometimes if you're not getting back, checking your messages and things, you may miss out if there's an additional document needed. But on the bonding program, it's one document, and normally that's in good shape. In the registered apprenticeship program, again, probably going to need your FEIN number, things of that nature to get that going. But normally that's a step-by-step process. So, but mostly with WOTC, it's just sometimes there is some additional documentation that's needed, but rarely it would ever cause a delay. So,
sure.
Yeah.
So just making sure that they stay in communication
Yes.
with their consultant, keep up with any kind of messages that come across, and get all of the necessary information from the new employee.
Yes, and that's a great question, because sometimes, things may slip through the cracks, so to speak. And once that 20 days is over, it's done for that employee. But our consultant team, as well as the tax credit team in Frankfurt, wants to make sure that we'll reach out and we'll get it to you somehow and make sure that that's completed. So,
sure. And we had a question pop up in the chat. And does the KCC provided career counseling and resume services? So we know that they do that at each location. They can help. Can employers post jobs as well for these clients to access for those people who are going for counseling and resume services? Let me know if I'm not asking that question correctly, Dave.
No, that's a great question. No, you did fine. It's excellent. What happens a lot of times if they're working with KCC is going to already get that information, that resume out there for that particular individual. And they would suggest doing that. Usually when an individual comes into the Career Center, they're going to be like, here are the steps we need for you to do, and here's what we suggest. And so that first suggestion is going to be getting on Focus Talent. Or for the individuals called Focus Career, where they can upload their resume, put their demographic information out there, and it's private. So for instance, if an employer is going to look and say they want to hire an accountant for Fayette County, they can see the resume, but they can't see the contact info because of HIPAA. And then they have to ask that person if it's okay for them to contact them about a job opportunity. And then if as an employer, if you want to post your jobs out there, you can create an account through Focus Talent, or you can talk to your business service representative at the Kentucky Career Center. And every Kentucky Career Center has a business services team, and they can post it out there for you at no charge. And so
great.
That's something to keep in mind as well. So
great. Thank you. It's a really helpful, the Kentucky Career Center, I think, is a really helpful aspect of what you all do that a lot of employers can overlook just in the busyness of everyday running a business. So we appreciate that. So
yes,
I think that is all the questions that we have. Again, thank you so much for your time. And for those attendees, this will be on the KentuckySBDC.com website for replay, available for you within the next couple of days. Give us a couple of days to get it edited and then put on there. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to follow up with your specific business coach for your area. If you don't know your business coach, or if you've not signed up yet with the SBDC for no-cost business coaching, you can do that as well on our website. There's a start button. You just click right on that. You can also look via location at the top, find the location closest to where you are. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're always available and happy to help small business owners in the state. Thank you all so much for taking the time to attend. And please join us next week. We'll have another webinar every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, and we look forward to hosting you then. Thank you all very much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you for joining today's webinar. At the Kentucky SBDC, we know small businesses are the heart of our economy. That's why our goal is to help business owners start, grow, and succeed in Kentucky. Find out more about how our no-cost business coaching, training, and resources can help your business. Visit us at KentuckySBDC.com.